What is going on, guys? This is the Poke Time podcast where we serve you up a cup of the hottest takes on what's going on in the Pokemon community. We got a special episode today. We got my co-host Yizzy Pokemon and our special guest for this evening, Alex Ketchum, aka Alex Hodges.
What is up, guys? Thanks for having me back.
Yo,
Yizzy, why are you so quiet, man?
Welcome back. Every time I talk and I say my name, you're always like, exactly. So I'm just like, waiting my turn, letting you do your thing. That really made me think like your audio setting was messed up because there's always like something wrong when we go live.
Yeah.
Whether it be audio issues, lagging issues.
There's always issues. It's on brand. It's on brand. Like I know Alex knows this.
Yeah, one day we'll get it right.
One day we'll eventually get it right. I don't think we're gonna get it right on this episode either. So Alex,
we're balling on a budget.
Yeah, we're balling on a budget. We're broke. Even though we're 3 times sponsored, we're broke. So if you want to,
disconnecting midstream is part of the brand at this point. Our fans come to expect us to, kind of lag out at some point, or they're going to be disappointed.
Alex said it in the chat right here. He said counting down to 30 minutes. So like people already have a time like a timer for when Yizzy's Discord just goes right out and then it comes right back in.
Let's go.
Yeah, funny story is it's been a little bit longer than 30 minutes recently, hasn't it been?
Last episode, I don't think it happened until a lot later.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. So Alex, you've been a very busy man as of late.
It's been pretty surreal. I mean, I don't know if you want me to dive into everything that's happened in the past 3 months.
No. Yeah, if you want to, go on ahead. I mean, I have one particular question before you go right down into the nitty gritty. So, I think for me, one of the biggest highlights that I've personally seen from you this entire year of 2021 so far is seeing you at Comic-Con and then opening up a base set box with DJ Ski at the eBay booth. Now, for those guys who don't know, Alex was asking me like literally the day before on whether or not that base box was like, he was like, Shiv, like, do you know of anyone that can help, verify this base box is real or not? And I said, yeah, there's Pokeju, but, Pokeju was too busy to answer. And then I had Charizard King, shout out to Charizard King Murph. He looked at it, he said it was legitimate, So, next day, Alex is in New York and he's opening up this booster box, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and go from here. Alex, tell us what happened.
So the eBay team was super cool. Essentially, we get on this conference call prior to the entire box break, and I go like, hey, great to meet everybody. Before we do this in front of a bunch of live people, why don't we take a look at the box? Because the agency is not really thinking about the nitty gritty stuff when it comes down to the authenticity of Pokemon boxes. They haven't seen the infamous dumb money stream where, poor Leonhardt's sitting on the sidelines while they open up this resealed box. So I wanted to make sure if we're kicking off Comic-Con that we're not in that situation. So essentially they send me the photos, and right off the bat, I see one country code and we didn't have WotC wrap on it there, or the WotC wrap itself was large. There were some discrepancies on this box that were very, very interesting looking. So we sent them all over the place. Shiv, I sent them to you, and I was like, Avengers Assemble. Let's figure out what print run this box was, everything from top to bottom, because we've opened unlimited boxes before, but there's so many variants and there's also so many replicas right now that I didn't want to get us into hot water at all. So we show up to New York. And eBay, so they straight up go, hey, Alex, you know what? Just in case this box didn't look good, here's another box. So here's 2 base set boxes. Check these out. And you guys can roll with whatever box you want to roll with. And we rolled into Toy Tokyo headquarters in New York. Really amazing toy store with a bunch of grails in there. And we had a nice little captive, cool little audience situation going on where a lot of high-end collectors came and got to watch everything go down. But sure enough, the box we opened, and keep in mind at this point, we had 2 boxes to choose from. So we ended up choosing one. Everything's going fine. And about 11 packs into the live stream, I noticed one of our packs looks like it's double stuffed.
Dude, it was
almost
thick.
like, you see, it's a thick little VMAX Venusaur pack. And I'm sitting there panicking right now, going, okay, either it's double stuffed with cards or something is going terribly wrong right now.
Yeah.
So we open this thing up, and smack dab in the middle of this thing, like Oreo filling, is a piece of styrofoam. We're live. We have like 250 viewers, and it's like the nightmare scenario is unfolding. You know, I'm supposed to be the cool, calm, collected guy going over base set nostalgia moments, the different artists that worked on the artworks, the different Pokemon, which ones came first. And I am just, my mind is blank. And I'm like, what do I talk about right now? You know what I mean? We somehow get through the stream. I'm doing rip tests on cards under the table as to not kind of involve everybody watching the stream in the fact that I'm panicking. And the cards were real. And I'm like, okay, so it was probably a resealed box. You know, too bad, but at least the cards are real. And 2 packs later, we're pulling the most near mint Charizard I've pulled all year. I've seen anyone pull all year. No corners, no edge wear, nothing. This thing was magnificent. Like, I was stunned. I mean, I thought we were going to be pulling computer searches all night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we go right into this Charizard.
Wow.
And I end up posting the video today on my TikTok account.
You did.
And someone purporting to work at the actual printing company reaches out and says that the styrofoam actually breaks up the different cards to keep them from getting scratched, and that someone who wasn't paying attention ultimately let that slip fall into the pack itself. So we end up getting, I mean, what, like a 1 in 50,000 weird factory error thing. And granted, it's not the factory error you want. It's not a cigar burn Hitmonchan, but it's like one of those moments where I
was dumbfounded. You know, I was watching and I'm like, man, Alex is really cool, calm, and collected right now.
What did you say? Like, well, not what you say, but what's going through your mind?
Yeah. Like, were you just freaking out? Like, at that point, it's like, oh god, this is a resealed box.
No, it was. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, be on every Poke Drama channel, and it's gonna be idiot noob Alex Hodges doesn't know what he's talking about.
Collectibles Guru 2.0.
Has no clue. He's a stonky investor guy who just cares about the dollars. I thought it was guaranteed. I really felt like, oh, here we go. Like, I got a bullseye on me now. But it's funny. I talked to a lot of people, like, within the kind of, like, I guess, perspective community, the commentary community in Pokemon, and a lot of people were super supportive. They're like, hey, you weren't selling the packs. It wasn't like, you know, something where someone bought this pack for an exorbitant amount of money and we're like, hey, ignore that styrofoam.
No, that's crazy.
Like, no, that's weird. Poof. And just like didn't even think about it.
Were you able to keep the styrofoam like as a memory, as like or like whatever happened to that piece of styrofoam?
It's in my office right now. It's in this office.
Nice.
I was so pumped they let me keep it. Hilarious. I was like, this is like, it's just so symbolic, man, of like, I think the ups and downs of everything that's transpired since I started creating Pokemon content and kind of just going through the motions and getting through stuff no matter what.
Wow. It kind of brings me back to that whole collectibles guru moment, that whole meme that I'm seeing on Instagram. It's like, hey, we got a problem with collectibles guru on the phone. I'm like, yo, this is exactly what happened in Alex's head. But
it really was that.
Yeah. But you've had a great year, you know. You have a baby named Kit.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got a new family.
You're a dad now. Last time you were on the podcast, you weren't a dad. Like last podcast, you weren't a dad. Now you're a dad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some highlight reel moments from this year, but becoming a father 2 months ago, bar none, is like it. You know, I hate to say it, but collecting has taken kind of a back seat to being a dad. It's been such a beautiful thing, man. And he's so handsome. He's like weirdly handsome. I'm like, what?
Where did he get those genetics?
You know, because newborns can come out looking like newborns. And my dude came out just kind of like blue steel right out of the gate. Like, even the nurses were just kind of like,
dude's
why does he look so old? Like, why does he look so like formed? Like, he he looked like chiseled. He had like a mohawk. Like, it was amazing. I was like, dude, you have like a motorcycle in the parking lot. Like, who are you? But yeah, man, it's been a roller coaster. I'm proud of you guys too. You're traveling all over. Yizzy, we were just talking about that. You're all over the place, man.
Yeah. Yizzy's crushing it.
Yeah.
Don Diego's in the chat. Apparently, we got Leonhardt on the podcast today. How's it going, Leonhardt? Oh, I mean, Alex Hodges. Hey, didn't you also ruin Frankensons this year?
Oh man. You know what? To Don Diego, I'm sorry. I ruined the show probably 3 hours before she got there, too.
Ooh.
You know, had she just come, you know, that morning, she would have come into an epic, fun Frankenson. But no, I demolished that place, you know, and I am sorry about that. I will do better.
Yeah, next time.
Don Diego says she's also here for the Shrek talk. So is Kinemori.
Nice.
Oh,
Everyone is digging the whole Shrek vibe, and I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it, you know? Shrek deserves all the love. He is our Lord and Savior, guys.
Well, you and your plates, man. You just can't get enough.
Yeah, man.
That's why I don't pick up your calls anymore, dude.
Right.
All you talk about is those Shrek plates.
Hey, it's the biggest play of the year, man. Don't sleep. Get out in the swamp. So just to get right into it, we're gonna go ahead and talk about our sponsors for this evening. We have TCG Stadium, Prodigy Games, TCG, and the Pokemon Network. Pokemon Network is ran and owned and operated by Ken Lee. Ken Lee is your go-to guy to find all your cards from the most affordable to the most high-end. He just sold that Black Label Japanese holofoil Mew to Chloe, which is crazy.
Wow.
I think it was a trade too.
Yeah. He was down for trade, so I'm assuming that's how he got that. I think he either got that LC box from her, because she was trying to move that LC box. So, that's what I'm assuming what happened. And probably some cash kind of deal that Kenley probably threw in the process. But Prodigy Games is a local card shop in Florida. Right now, their Instagram is down, but you can follow Julie from Prodigy Games, and from there, she'll take care of you. She's good. She's good people.
I want to make a trip down there. Literally, I want to make content.
Dude, their card shop looks amazing.
You know what? I may go to Tampa just for that. I really may.
Let's do it. If we go,
like, it's going to be better than our intro, than our Poke Tea Time intros.
Okay.
The comeback, yeah.
TCG and finally TCG Stadium. TCG Stadium is a online card shop in Nashville. They're working on their process of becoming a brick and mortar. So Jimmy's son is a good person. Is Shrek ogre hyped? Nope, it's properly ogre hyped.
Is Kinley gonna have a brick and mortar soon?
That's a future plan. Like that's what he would genuinely like to have. I feel like he's gonna be the type of person to I feel like he procrastinates a lot, you know. And that's all. This is me talking out of sheer love, but he'll eventually have one. I think he wants to execute it in the right manner.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a lot of things planned for you guys. It's November, guys. It's finally November. So Yizzy, you know what that means, right?
November kickoff. No, I don't. What does that mean?
It's No Nut November.
I'm way ahead of you.
No, so speaking of that, I have a buddy of mine in the Pokemon community. His name is Gear Ninja, right? He just got
shout out to Gear Ninja.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin. He just got a PSA 10 Rainbow Rare Charizard GX from Burning Shadows, right?
PSA 10.
Wow.
Yeah, PSA 10. But as soon as he got it, like, he was having a conversation with his buddy, because he's a college kid. His buddy who knows nothing about Pokemon, he's like, if you nut November, you have to give me your PSA 10 Rainbow Rare Charizard, and Kevin agreed. So, hey, our hearts go out to you, man. We hope you can do it. I mean, we
hey, you want to make a bet like that, Shu?
No.
Oh gosh.
No,
Shiv,
no,
I mean,
no.
we don't want to talk about Panther too much, but Shiv just went on a date this last weekend. Guys.
Yeah, this past weekend I did. Yeah, yes, literally 2 days ago.
He took a picture. Yeah, he took a picture of the girl. It was on his Instagram story.
And Snap.
He was like, "I'm nervous," and then took a picture of her.
It's because it's a meme. It's a running meme. It's like you take a picture of someone that you're going on a date with or a lunch with. It's like on a date, kind of nervous. That's like a running meme, like amongst a lot of people.
Oh, Alex, can you educate me on this? Educate me on this. Is it a TikTok thing? Because I don't know.
No, it's just like a regular normal meme. Like you wouldn't know. You're 30.
Ooh. Hit him.
I mean, Alex, Alex is like my age, right, Alex?
No, he's like 28, man.
I've turned 25 like 14 times.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not just hurting me. You're hurting your good old.
I'm so bad at math. I don't know. I'm 34. I'm too old to be doing this. Was what I'm trying to say.
You know, a lot of people.
This gives me hope, Alex.
Yeah, you
Rapper
can do this
gentleman
forever,
like
man.
you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, do this forever.
I get a lot of pressure from my parents. He's like, "You're 30 years old, Yizzy. No kids, no girlfriend." Like,
Don Diego Trading said swirls get girls, and I agree with that statement. Swirls do get girls.
Facts.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
Like waifu girls, like
All
from
of them. All
cards.
of them. All of them. All the above.
Misty's tears type of girls.
No, it's all the above. No, that's too young, man.
Yo! Shout out to Laura, aka Don Diego, and Pokey Chloe for not slowing down all year. I think a lot of people figured there'd be like a lot of like a hard push for 3 months or 4 months, and then kind of like a phasing out. And it's so cool to see how dedicated they are. Like Chloe's YouTube is so cracked, bro. Like
10K.
I sit there and I'm just like, if you're growing a YouTube channel in 2021, like you're actively gaining subscribers, that is so impressive to me.
Yeah.
And dude, she's dedicated. Her content's quality. YouTube's hard, man. And she's out here, dude.
She's
so,
crushing
yeah,
it.
props
And you
to her,
know, we actually, for those guys who don't know, we actually are planning to have Pokey Chloe on the podcast. I started the whole scheduling process with her, I think a couple of days ago. So that's in the works, because I mean, obviously she's over the pond, so I'm trying to get it to where it works out, because if it's like 9:30 here, it's like well into the AM there. And then with Laura's execution in terms of, you know, when it comes to outreach and being able to make these types of deals, it blows my mind. Like, she's in every conversation possible, and then she's just a really good people person. So it like, all of us are doing good, but I think those two women, amongst some other women, they're definitely crushing it. And so
and shout out to every girl that's out here doing this right now. I mean, it was a pretty male dominant space.
100%.
Like, even 12 months ago, I mean, my TikTok following is legitimately 82% men, which gives you an idea about who the demographic is. And obviously women are dealing with different comment sections than we are. You know, guys are going to comment on my video, fake, everything is fake, you pulled a Charizard, that's fake, there's styrofoam, that's fake, everything's fake. But girls are getting it ×2, which we've seen before, Shiv, whether it be in the Burbank City group, whether it be the talks about sexism or whatever. It's so much harder because you get these creepy weirdos.
Funny enough, Don Diego sent me a screenshot of a creepy DM yesterday, and I'm like, man, this is just wild. People just have people are really ballsy to say some of this stuff, and it's like they don't act like this stuff doesn't catch up to them, and it just blows my mind. It's like how do you send stuff like that and then think that it's not going to catch up to you? That's just my thing. But to get this ball back on the track, you know, we've definitely been grinding. We definitely been working very hard at everything. And I kind of want to touch on something very serious. Myself, Yizzy, Alex, we're all involved with the whole NAMI project. Alex is working on a NAMI project himself, so definitely follow up with him and his content in regards to that. And for those guys who do not know, NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And myself and Yizzy, we have a few big streams coming up here soon. We just got our first big donation in from Live Poke Auctions. Shout out to Live Poke Auctions. We're going to have our sponsors involved. We're going to have everyone involved. So for those guys who don't know, if you haven't seen my story yet, I just got mail from Leonhardt. Alex will get one eventually soon, but apparently we're going to be doing I guess it's a pack battle, a base set 2 amongst, like, I think it's 64 people or 72 people. I don't know how Lee has it done, but shout out to Leonhardt for doing that. You know, he's the one who's organizing all of this. Like, this is probably like the coolest thing ever, just because of the fact that you have so many content creators literally coming in together to do something for a good cause. And for those guys who do not know, 1 out of 5 people in America suffer from suffer from some sort of mental illness. So I think it's going to a good cause. Yeah.
I know
mean,
it's a good cause.
just to speak on this, I mean, I actually have, people in my life that, work at the NAMI Foundation. And in 2018, I mean, just to open the floor all the way up, I suffered from anxiety and depression that was so debilitating that after 6 months, I lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I finally got therapy, which basically I try to look at therapy like the gym, right? Imagine me being 33 years old and having never been to the gym. The gym, in this case, being a metaphor for therapy. Everybody needs therapy. Not people that are sad, not people that are happy. Everybody needs therapy at some point. It's like never going to the gym to never get therapy. And I didn't realize that. I thought, I'm a privileged white guy. I've got everything anybody could want. What on earth do I have to be depressed about? And a friend of mine who actually owns a private dental practice goes, Alex, mental health is blind to success. Cancer doesn't care that you're successful, and neither does depression. And more people need to realize that. And I think that's why this is such a worthy cause to me. And look, NAMI and other charities and everything that gets big to a certain point, you can tear it down. You can say, look, they're spending 30% on this and only 70% on that. I know people at that organization that are great people that have the best intentions, and they are helping people. So this is a worthy cause for me. Very excited to be involved. And can we talk about Lee sending $7,200, $300 booster packs?
Yep.
What's the math on that? Can we talk? Wait, I'm just going to get the calculator out here. Sorry if this is tacky, Lee. 70 times
$21,000.
250. So $17,500 to $21,000.
Yeah.
He's just to get this project off the ground. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. No, we really do appreciate Lee. I know myself and Yizzy, we talked about it. We're gonna try and get Lee to like give us like a 5-minute or 7-minute clip or recording, or if he wants to hop on the podcast just for like a quick 5 minutes just to say like what NAMI is and what NAMI is about. We would greatly appreciate that. Either way, we do appreciate him. I know the vast majority of the community appreciates what he does. I know I do. But to get onto the two major topics this evening, and it might just be just one topic because I can't necessarily get the audio ready for this one, even though our title is about Logan Paul. So just to kind of give you guys a quick synopsis of what's going on, and because of where I can't necessarily get the video up and running to where we can react to it, I sent the video to Yizzy, and I did send the video to you, Alex. So just to give you guys a brief idea, we'll
put the link for a lot of people that are rewatching this podcast in the chat down below, and we'll give you a timestamp.
We'll also add a clip up to it. Yeah, we'll actually like do.
And if you're listening, it'll be around 25 minutes of that link in the bio.
Yeah, the timestamp is at 25 minutes, but we'll also include that in our clip up as well, so that way you guys get a good idea as to what's going on. But essentially, Logan Paul last week had a podcast. His whole thing is in his whole setup's in Puerto Rico now, so he's officially there now. He's talking, like, he's essentially recounting his story about being able to, like, actually acquiring that PSA 10 first edition Shadowless Charizard from Gary. And then on his way back from Vegas, he's looking at the card. And he's like, man, this is a perfect card. And so he decides to crack it out of the case. He tells a story about how, like, him being a Maverick, like he stepped up to the plate to be able to do that. Like, not a lot of people are willing to crack, $150,000 card out of a case to be able to net, a potential $1 million. But you could also very much lose money in the process just for sending a card out to Beckett, and they downgrade it, or they just don't give you the grade you want. So, like, you lose money in the grading fees and the insurance alone. So he's recounting that, and towards the end of that little portion of that segment, Mike is basically saying that that's not even the most craziest story there is, and the most craziest story hasn't been revealed. And a lot of the projects that Logan has been working on will be revealed after 35 days. So I think that's going to be I don't know what's going to happen, but I kind of want to, field it out to both of you as to what you guys think is going to happen. So this is more of a speculation kind of conversation, and I want, our chat to kind of discuss it as well.
Yizzy, I'll let you lead on this. I'd be interested to hear what you think.
So I rewatched the clip, and a few key words stood out to me. So people in the chat talked about it. It's within 35 days, which the thing was posted 6 days ago. He said he was traveling for this. That stood out to me a lot. He's like, I don't travel for vacation, but I've been traveling for this project. And his good buddy, what's his friend's name?
Mike.
Mike said, after he told the story about the BGS 10 Charizard, he said, that's not even the Pokemon story. So in my mind, I'm trying to think of something that could be crazier than this. And then he pointed out, like, my brain can't even fathom how big this will be. And then the last few keywords that come out of Logan's mouth after he said this, because he really was like kind of sweating. He's like, Mike, stop talking about this. He's like, when I dive deep into something, I go absolutely all in. I put all my eggs in a basket. I engulf myself in it. Same he did with boxing, and the same thing he's doing with Pokemon. And this is something he said he's going to do the rest of his life for. So those are the few keywords I took out of like that short 5-minute clip. And I was like, wow, those are big. So he's traveling for it. And it just goes back to, I don't think it will, but it goes back to the initial conversation we had when he talked about when he did his first edition box break. Like, does he control the market? I know this sounds like really dumb because he's already done a second box break, but will Logan Paul, like, with this whatever project isn't, will he be controlling the market, or is he going to shake up the market in some sense? So those are like the biggest questions I have based off what he's been telling us. But oh man, I'm just trying to think of anything he might be doing for this project.
What are your thoughts, Alex?
My mind goes to two places. I mean, the obvious thing is he bought a more expensive card than a BGS 10 Charizard, which, you're thinking about an Illustrator Pikachu potentially, maybe something even grailing on top of that grail. The other piece could be, obviously, Logan is like a WWF hype man who can make even the most kind of blase projects like a new merch drop feel like Armageddon. So it could be some NFT thing that no one's going to care about. He's like, a 1 of 1 NFT of me, bareback on Charizard flying through the sky. There's only one. And like, we're all going to be like, really? Like, it's a Logan delivery Charizard?
No, I mean, it's a pretty interesting thing because, like, what if it kind of ties into his NFT project that he did back during the first edition Shadowless box break? Like, what if he has something that's associated with it? It's like, hey, if you own these NFTs, then you're able to get this, and that could potentially pump up the prices for that particular NFT or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, it's all of us are literally just speculating, and I mean, I kind of go back to, like, we kind of go back to two different moments, right? We talk about, the fall and how his initial box break, and the stuff leading up to that created, a crazy amount of hype and FOMO in the market. But when we look back at the second box break, that did nothing. And, I called it. It did absolutely nothing as far as the market goes. I mean, a lot of people were freaking out, but I was like, I don't think anything's going to happen.
Like, literally not even
you got me. Shiv, you got me on that one huge, because I was in the camp of I think it was on January 1st, I think right at the stroke of midnight, I was like just scared in my Instagram story, like, I'm scared no one will be able to buy a base set limited pack next year. I was like legitimately like, I think after this next box break, it's going to be game over for people. Like, it's going to be a base set limited pack is going to be more than Skyridge. Skyridge is going to be $4,000, because we return to this every time we open a box, there's less.
Yeah.
There's less. Like, and it's like, we talk about supply and demand with modern all the time. Think about it with vintage.
Yeah.
We keep opening these boxes. At some point, the dark factory in Chicago or Detroit, wherever these cases are sitting, it's empty. You know,
Yeah.
it's like gas. At some point, we're gonna run out. So
Mhm.
it's. But to your point, Shiv, I mean, yeah, you were dispassionate and you called it. I mean, I definitely got. I was shocked.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
was sitting on Clubhouses like a full on 2 weeks before, and we were just kind of discussing it with Pokenomics. Shout out to Pokenomics, Z&G Emporium, a bunch of other people, even Radar himself. Uh, we were like, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think we saw everything that we needed to see, and this is like right after things started correcting. So, um,
Mm.
I I'm trying to like wrap my mind around what would it take for something bigger than what happened in the fall. Like I'm trying to figure out like what would have to happen in order for that to happen, right? Like we thought that the Pokemon, for a few weeks before the Pokemon Saves the World event, we thought that was gonna do something, and nothing happened. So like I'm trying to figure out what would be bigger than Pokemon Saves the World. What would be bigger than the last Logan Paul box break? What would it take to bring it up to that high?
So
And
Well,
I think it's not a massive crowd thing because we've
mm,
already had the massive crowd distribution, and this is a conversation Radar and I have had a bunch of times.
mm,
Um, when the correct investors and auctioners in the Middle East, in Riyadh, in Dubai, like in these epicenters of wealth,
mm-hmm,
there's these auctions where families will literally bid $10 million on a license plate for their Rolls Royce because they want a single digit license plate.
mm-hmm,
And the 01 license plate would go for $14 million. And these people have a level of wealth, like they'll send their 12-year-old kid there to do it. Like they'll go like, okay, Ahmad, head in there. And he raises his hand and they just bid 12 million on this 01 license plate. So when Pokemon hits, when there's a sale that's equivalent to a Banksy, something like the Rolls Royce single digit plate license plates, when you start hitting those echelons of that society, that 0.00001%, that's when Pokemon goes up. Not because of all the people, but because the top that decide that Picasso is worth 78 million, those people decide. It's not about us really.
mm-hmm.
Those top people are pulling everything up. So if Pokemon ever got to that point where it's no different than sports cards. When a Tom Brady card sells for 4.8 million,
Mm-hmm.
that makes everything else rise with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you correct, you're still far higher than you were before the correction. I
Absolutely.
think I don't know that that's coming with how many different investment things you could have right now with NFTs emerging and all this different crypto coins. It's just there's so much to invest in right now that I don't know that Pokemon's having this moment yet.
Yeah, no,
mm,
I agree with that sentiment. I mean, um, I think Logan Paul's thing was more of a secondary catalyst, behind the initial catalyst of COVID, and
Mm.
a supply of high end cards that were going for super cheap, running out very fast to the point where there was none of them essentially available in the actual open market. Um, and I think that's just what catapulted it. But I don't see anything going. I don't see any runway period yet when it comes to these cards going up to what they were in terms of value. I think cards are definitely underpriced. Like I definitely think Pokemon is definitely underpriced to a certain extent. Like we're back. Like a lot of cards are back to where they were before COVID. And I think that's absolutely I think it's a good thing. Like a lot of people are complaining about how they would never be able to afford vintage. They can afford vintage now. Like we're seeing prices at where they were before,
yeah.
COVID. So I think this is, I don't know. I don't know. Logan Paul is a master marketer, and if
What I wonder what his motive is behind it, right? So like it's a project, it's something he's passionate about. So his main goal isn't to ignite the market. His main goal is to provide entertainment. It goes back to the speech that he told himself every day. He's like, I'm going to be the biggest entertainer in the world. He
mhm,
told himself that for what, 2 year or after he moved out to LA for the next 4 years, he just told himself, I'm going to be the best entertainer. So
yeah,
like his motive is not necessarily to ignite the market, but maybe to entertain. So that's another key
No,
indication.
look.
Right.
He's a competitive guy. There's a reason that he wants to get into the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Logan is the kind of guy that wants
Mm-hmm.
to put the hurt on people that slide him. You know, every news
Okay.
media article that ever bashed him, anyone that's ever come after him,
Uh-huh.
Logan wants Bezos money. He wants to be so inignorably powerful and
Oh.
wealthy and influential that
Mm.
everybody that ever said that guy's a joke is just throwing their hands up like we don't know what to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? I
Mm.
think that's look, the entertainment part came naturally to him. He's established that he can be
Yeah.
entertaining. He's not my cup of tea. I'm not watching his stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, he's like I don't want to say not career wise, not perception wise, not artistically, not anything, but he's
Uh-huh.
kind of like a Drake in the way that they're really just seeing exactly how far they can take this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how far can I take Logan Paul? How far can I take Drake? Like, do I hit 150 million and that's my cap,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
then I have to reinvent? Like, that kind of feels like what's happening with him.
So,
Mm.
to kind of touch on this a little bit more, I go like based on this current conversation, I go back to a previous podcast episode Logan had, and that was with Mr. Beast and how they were talking about NFTs. Um, and the way that they were talking about NFTs was with Gary Vaynerchuk, and Gary Vaynerchuk had Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and probably they said it themselves in verbatim, you know, like 20, 30 billionaires in a chat, right? And it's this kind of is like scary to me because to me it's like you have a small group of people who are literally influencing an entire generation in you know multiple generations possibly on how they invest and where their money is essentially going to go to. And they were talking about NFTs. if if Logan Paul is all about NFTs, if he loves Pokemon, it does not surprise me that he would probably use those two as a way to you know market that even more. But I don't know. We can speculate all day. So just to quickly get through this, Yizzy, do you think the market will go up or down after this 35
Oh,
days?
oh man. I just noticed the market.
Just say yes or no.
Does that have to be quick? Oh, gosh, dude. I'm gonna say no.
Okay, Alex, what do you think?
No.
Okay, cool. I agree.
What if you wanted to say yes? I feel like Shiv wanted to say yes.
No,
Say yes, Shiv.
for
Be the
me,
odd man out.
no,
Be the odd man out.
this is why this is the reason why I say no. There's nothing right now where like when I look at these graphs, there's nothing that's indicating to me that it's gonna go right back up. Like interest right now is like right here. People are, I mean, I hate to say it, but people are somewhat kind of burnt out with Pokemon. Like whether it's the community aspect, whether
I
it's
think.
whether
Go
it's
ahead.
the like you have people who are like collectors who are who collect based on rarity, who are just kind of tired of buying overprinted product from Pokemon, so they're reverting to cross collecting and collecting different things. Then you have um people who are just like tired of a scalper, so they're just not even attempting to try. So like people are just kind of tired. So I don't think like I would have to see something that would increase interest a lot more
It kind of
drastically.
reminds me of what Alex Hodges came on a podcast last time he was on here when he said it's the perfect storm. And I start thinking about the perfect storm. And like it's almost a perfect storm on the other side of the hill where like it's normalizing, people are going back to school. Everybody's realizing how much slabs are out there. Everybody's realizing how much unlimited sets are out there. Um Normalization with COVID, like the perfect storm of the demand actually dropping is there. Like the perfect storm of the other way around as you were explaining. Printing, Pokemon printing, like opening up what two new manufacturers and everything, and printing
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of products. You're just saying 70 ETBs of celebration on a shelf. I've never seen that many ETBs on a shelf in general with any sets,
Well, I
let
mean, and
alone
then,
like
yeah,
70.
yeah. I mean, to pile on to what we said back in that podcast as well, just less options in terms of what you would invest in. There was crypto. You know, there's the main coins. There was shit coins, but at that point in time, there wasn't the big draw to crypto, and everyone kind of wanted this pet project. at home
Mm.
during COVID, during lockdown.
Mm.
I mean, this is the reason why I posted 380 TikTok videos in 1 year. I
Mm.
had nothing. I'm like, I'm not running my agency right now. No one's in the office. I'm just going to be at home. And hey, the world's kind of depressing right now. I kind of want to retreat into something that I'm passionate about because I have all this free time.
Mm-hmm.
And at
Right.
that point, I'm like, oh my gosh. And for me, look, I'm a collector. Like binders on binders. I'm a
Yeah, you
nerd.
do.
And I think you kind of need to be a nerd
Yeah.
to stick around. You know what I mean? Like there
Yeah.
has to be that nerdy fire. And I don't mean nerd in like the way where it's like the handsome guy and He's All That, the Netflix remake of She's All That, where he's got a flannel on and a loose t-shirt. It's like, that doesn't
Mhm.
mean nerd just because he plays with a horse. Like, he's so cool. I
Yeah.
mean, like, you legitimately have to like cartoons and you have to care about like counterculture stuff that other people go, you're an adult. Why are you talking about this? I don't understand. Like stuff where your parents are like legitimately like, Shiv, why are you watching cartoons at 2 a.m. right now? Like you're an adult. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you need that to stick in Pokemon, anime, whatever it is for a long time. And a lot of these collectors don't have that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them came in and it was like, oh, investments. And then it was like, oh, eBay doesn't look so good. Oh, I'm out of here. The prices are going down. I got to get out of here. You know?
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I like myself and Yizzy, we were just having this conversation earlier today. We were like, has the market is interest for Pokemon gone? Like, has things like just tanked, or is Pokemon
It's diluted.
Yeah,
it's just diluted.
Yeah, or is Pokemon right where it should be? Like we go back to we saw a massive spike in FOMO and interest, you know, right around the fall and early summer of last year, like from some early summer all the way up to fall, right? I think a lot of the price points are right where they should be. I don't think things are over evaluated right now. I mean, some stuff is. I mean, I like to think that a lot of modern stuff is definitely over evaluated. Like it's still surprising me that you have a lot of modern chase cards that are worth more than certain vintage cards. But I think that will change. So I think things will definitely change. I know Nat Turner just recently said in a podcast with Card Talk, with the Card Talk podcast, saying that he will eventually like to get back to the $10 bulk submission. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to happen in Q1. And I think that's a big W for collectors. And I say collectors specifically just because collectors are going to stick around. So that's just what I think. You know, we talked a lot about Logan Paul in this particular segment, but one thing that I do want to mention, and it'll be sort of the segue into this next conversation, is that throughout that sort of clip right there in that podcast, Logan is like, he talks about the hobby with so much respect. You know, it doesn't matter, like you can dislike the guy for his actions, that's perfectly fine, but you can't deny that he truly loves Pokemon. His friends know that he truly loves Pokemon, and he has so much respect for it. Like in the actual podcast, he was talking about how he wasn't super vocal about him turning his PSA card into a Beckett card because he thought that was a taboo. He thought he was going to get a lot of crap for that. And he wanted to be super respectful to Gary. He wanted to be super respectful to the community itself, and that's why he wasn't, you know, the loudest person there was when it came to that. And you know, he always says that it's his good luck charm. He's like, in the podcast, he said he wants to be buried with it. He doesn't plan on selling it. And you know, he had the,
I don't think he's not going to sell it. Like,
he's just not. Yeah, he's not going to sell it. I mean, you know, it's Pop 3. And I think that to me just shows that he has a lot of respect for the hobby. Like just the way that, you know, a lot of people can talk bad about Gary, and that, you know, you can if you want. You know, that's your opinion. Go on ahead. But you know, Gary talks about the look in Logan's eyes, and the way Gary talks about Logan and the way Logan talks about Gary, it matches up. There's so much respect there. And you know, a lot of the community just doesn't like that. A lot of the community doesn't want him to participate in this hobby. And you know, I kind of want to segue into this next topic. Our next topic is called politics and Pokemon. Yes, pretty clickbaity, but essentially the emphasis of what happens in the Pokemon community has kind of strayed. Nowadays, on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis, we always see something negative. and that tends to be the center of attention that ends up being the focus of conversations. And we need to kind of go back to what it was, and that's collecting, opening packs, and just enjoying each other's company, right? Like, it's perfectly fine to talk about scammers. It's perfectly fine to call out fraud and theft and anything of the sort. But a lot of the conversations that are happening in this community doesn't necessarily provide value to anyone. You know, so I kind of want to get your thoughts, Alex, on this particular topic right here. And, you know, I want to get Yizzy's thoughts on it as well. So I'm going to throw it to you, Alex.
I mean, it's the tip of the iceberg in Pokemon. What you're seeing is incendiary takes just travel farther on social media platforms than high-level discussions. It's really okay. Picture this: I tweet, "All LGS are scalpers," with the emoji that's rolling its eyes. How many retweets and favorites is that going to get?
Probably hundreds.
A lot, right?
That's probably
If I tweet 10 pages using every single character that breaks down the entire supply chain, that breaks down the pandemic market conditions, that breaks down distributor loyalty to certain LGS that spend more dollars with them, aka, hey, if you buy these Inteleon VMAX theme decks from me, because they won't sell, maybe when those ultra premium collection boxes come, you'll get 5. And Gary's Pokemart down the street, who wouldn't pick up this product, he won't get any. That's very normal in California. You know, there's elements here where people go, MSRP is exactly $120. What they're not factoring in is, to be that card shop, to get the 5 ultra premium boxes, you had to spend $6,000 on Inteleon VMAX theme decks that collect dust, because players don't want a tier 1 deck for $20. They want to build their custom rig out. They want Zacian. They want all this stuff, which is, that's totally understandable. But Pokemon's behind in that way, and they're not, you know, they're still going to make theme decks. They're going to make it accessible, whatever. But these products sit, distributors offload them, and they reward shops that help them sell stuff that doesn't sell. You know, Pokemon is kind of like, I always laugh when I say this, it's kind of like a Porsche dealership. So with Porsches, if your dealership sells a disgusting amount of Porsches every month, like you're in and out, you got every Panamera is just off the floor the second it gets there, Porsche headquarters takes notice, and they say, hey, you know what? You guys are special. We're going to send you a $1.8 million upgraded, crazy concept 2022 Porsche. It's going to be on your showroom floor because we appreciate you. It's going to be a great branding piece for you. The distributors do the exact same thing for LGS. And that's why when the LGS comes at it like, okay, yes, the wholesale for this was $50 less. I'm going to make $50. However, to even get this box, I had to spend a disproportionate amount more than everybody by me. And then you see a lot of people that conflate online sellers that have zero overhead because they're in an office like this one. They have no employees. They don't have 100-person tournaments with cash guarantees every week that just sell. Like, they literally get a product, they put a label on it, and they ship it. Like, they have no bills. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And they're also not as integral to the community yet because they don't have tournaments. They're not having people refereeing. They're not on the Magic Pro Tour. And look, online sellers that are affordable, fantastic. I mean, I want you guys to send me the links to the people that are sponsoring me after this so I can support them for supporting you. Like,
like our Prodigy Games for us is legit, like a legit card shop. Like, they're a local card shop that have their own brick and mortar out in Florida. And the TCG Stadium, they're getting their run up as far as getting a brick and mortar, because I think with Pokemon and how they do their you know, I guess it's called a license. They favor people who actually have a brick and mortar versus just like a normal online card shop. And it's even worse for people who are international in Canada.
But to circle back, what gets more retweets?
Yeah, negative stuff like that.
What gets more retweets? Bite-sized hot takes get more retweets and more favorites than me breaking down everything I just broke down. Because the fact is, we're here to escape. I started collecting because adulting is boring sometimes, and it's soul-sucking when everything is transactional, everything's about the next play. collecting, this return to nostalgia, this return to childlike passion, etc.
Mhm.
That is people wanting to escape from talking about supply chains. And
Yeah.
so it's really easy to turn off the part that matters most when you are talking about why things are the way that they are.
Mm.
And it's also so frustrating because in 2018, Evolution's booster boxes wouldn't sell for $69.
Dude, they were
They
selling for
were
$2 at GameStop.
dude, we were buying Evolutions packs with tickets at Dave and Buster's. I mean, it was like they could not get rid of Pokemon. And
Yeah.
and these people that weren't here to support LGS back then, who were struggling to stay open, are suddenly now telling these generational shops, "Oh, you need to get out." And it's like, dude, where were you 3 years ago when everything was MSRP? When everything was less than MSRP?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad you're having fun the last 6 months, but you're not exactly as integral to the community with these hate tweets as you think you are. Because you haven't, and it's not a thing to gatekeep new people, but try and have that nuanced view where it's like, wow, some of these LGS really do this for a living, and I'm just kind of on the sidelines seeing the card collecting, card TCG playing thing happen in real time. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, dude. I found an LGS that was selling ultra premium boxes for $500.
Oh,
Okay?
gosh.
I've got my pitchfork out. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I will cancel them. I will get on board with that all day long.
Mm.
I'm not defending that. But the moment I post, the VMAX, the V Union box, and it's $5 over MSRP, and someone comments scalper, I'm just like, oh, sweetheart, that's not how this works. This is not how that works at all.
Oh man.
No,
Wow.
I mean I totally see a lot of your frustration because I'll be, just checking my Facebook just to check on friends and see what they're doing, and then I see, Burbank City, and I'll see Alex trying to like actually defending LGSs on like Burbank City. Like it's a regular thing. Like Alex does this on a regular
Wow.
basis. Like I applaud Alex on that because I mean, no one's willing to like step up to the plate and defend certain LGSs, and often at times like my biggest thing is when people call LGSs scalpers, and it's like not all LGSs are scalpers. They have like a lot of people aren't factoring overhead. There's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that some people just don't understand, and then until you do understand it, then you can't really talk about it. But if you do understand,
there are LGS.
Yeah,
there are LGS that are bad actors.
Yeah, of course.
Do not get me wrong. We found a guy at Frankenson that broke street date on celebrations and was selling them out, triple the price. That is an example of what people are talking about. But I can tell you, as someone who's personal friends now with probably 7 to 8 different LGS owners that I speak to every single day, that the majority are just nerds like us that are reacting to historic market conditions that no one really knows how to navigate.
That's another thing. We talk about sorry to cut you off. But like we talk
No, you're
about,
fine. Hit it, man.
We talk about celebrations and it being the 25th anniversary, and a lot of people are comparing generations of celebrations. No, you can't compare the two. Those are two different eras of Pokemon. Right, with what's going on right now, with what's been going on in the past 2 years, we have something that's completely unprecedented. Like what's going on right now has never ever happened in Pokemon history. So for anyone, literally anyone, to compare any moment of Pokemon to right now, it makes no sense. You can't. You just can't. Like you can't. I don't even think you could compare when Pokemon was first released in the United States, because that's a different thing. This is vastly different. And the reason why I say that, and the reason why I'm talking about this, is because a lot of people have this sort of view where if I buy a bunch of sealed product right now, it's gonna be worth something in the next 5 to 10 years. No, that's not how this works. Like you're gonna have to wait you're gonna have to wait longer than 20 years for that to even accrue value, because so many people have wisened up, they kept things sealed, and then on top of that, they're not factoring inflation in the process. So they're probably going to lose money before that's even worth anything.
Well, what happened with all the top of the market buys in 2020? They lost money. I mean, there were PSA 6 base set unlimited Charizards. PSA 6 base set unlimited Charizards were selling over $1,000.
Oh
Are
god.
Dude,
you kidding
I
me?
sold I
You
sold
know,
my I sold my PSA 9 for $4,500 based on a
I
line.
mean, dude, I'm telling you
Great,
right now,
great
like
value.
it's the idea that a lot of people tell me they're like and look, I don't. For me, Pokemon is like is an investment method. I wouldn't even consider an investment. It's like it's an ancillary part of me collecting, getting to
Mm.
speak about something I'm passionate about,
Mhm.
and things happening up and down regardless. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
but like in terms of when people hit me up and go, "What do I invest in?" I'm like, invest in Tesla or invest in like Ethereum. Like, this is not like unless I always get it with Weiss Schwartz as well. What sets should I invest in? I'm like, dude, like
Oh,
if
you
you
must
do
be getting
not
hit with
care,
that.
I was like, if you do not care about anime, stay so far away from this thing because there is so much to know. And it's the same with Pokemon, right?
Mhm.
It's like, people think, oh, I got a PSA 10 CD promo Charizard. That must be the greatest investment of all time.
No, those
Little
things are
do they
value
know,
is crazy.
there's 5,000 PSA 10s out there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like the most high pop, but it's old. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you don't research this stuff, if you don't live, eat, and breathe it, 2020, I was on eBay more than I was on social media apps.
100%. I
Look
agree
at
with
your
that.
phone usage. Look at your phone usage when it goes, you're on Instagram for 3 hours, you're on TikTok for 4 hours, you're on YouTube for this amount of hours. I was on eBay more than anything else
Yeah.
because
Same.
I really collect, man. Like
Yeah.
it's, and it took that. It took that college to get where I would feel comfortable being like, this is smart if I am thinking about it like that. This is dumb. It
Right.
took a lot of hours. And people think it's just going to be this, here we go. It's generations, guys. Yay. Meanwhile, Pokemon literally is posting blog updates that say we're maximizing future production on all. That
Yeah.
wasn't happening during Generations. They weren't saying that. In
Granted,
Generations, they were lucky to sell everything they had.
granted,
Jeez.
they were still printing Generations a year after release. They printed all throughout the entire year. So I mean, it doesn't
Oh, yeah.
surprise me. Like Pokemon is a print to demand company. They're going to print until that demand kind of fizzles out, or that's when they start seeing a decline. I know, like myself in particular. One thing I don't understand is like there's this negative stigma behind like people who solely invest. And if that's what you find enjoyable, go ahead. That's by any means. Like I find a lot of joy in like finding rare things that doesn't necessarily have value. But I take that also as like an investment too, kind of like it's collect first, investing secondary. Like I'm a collector first and foremost. Like I will invest in certain. Ooh, that's a cool error. I remember you putting a TikTok up. You got to get that sign.
This
Crack it out, get it
this
signed.
is okay. Yeah. So to clarify what Chip's saying right now, I really want to get this signed by Arita. By the way, he retweeted me. Can we
Yeah,
talk
you
about my
told me.
most
Yeah, I
relevant
saw that
comment
yesterday.
ever?
That's yesterday. Yeah, right? Was it
Insane.
yesterday?
But
That's
yeah,
a
dude,
blank. Wow. That's cool.
who buys blank cards? You know what I mean? Like this to me is so magic,
I
man.
do.
Like
That looks.
you have to have that nerdy kind of fire if you want. It's almost kind of the safeguard of the Pokemon market. Is
Mhm.
it almost invites casual investors in and says, "Look, we're going to take care of you. Nobody knows about this thing," and they all get sucked in on these weird, or not even weird, but they get sucked in on Charizards. Oh, we're going to buy the Charizard. We're going to buy the Charizard. Oh, the Charizard. You want the Charizard, right? And it's like at the end of the day, unless it's a base set first edition Shadowless,
Mm.
you're kind of gambling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe you're Greninja and you nail that Burning Shadows hyper rare Charizard in a PSA 10, which by the way is one of my chase cards.
Oh,
The population of that thing is, dude, that's my dream. Dude, that hyper rare in a BGS, dude, a BGS 10 hyper rare Burning Shadows Charizard would
Oh
just be
man.
like
what's the pop of that?
so
PSA
grail.
10s is like 700 to
For
750.
BGS?
Yeah. No, not BGS. I'm talking about PSA. But like I was having this conversation with Gear Ninja 2. What is the most rare modern Charizard there? Like what's the most rare modern
Rare
Charizard there
PSA
is?
10.
So it's either a PSA 10 Burning Shadows or the PSA 10 Evo Charizard, and I think they're interchangeable. It's a lot easier to pull an Evo Holo Charizard than it is to pull a Burning Shadows Charizard. It's a
No,
lot more
dude,
difficult.
that Evo Charizard to grade is an absolute bloodbath.
3%.
I think Travis sent in probably 10, 9, 8, 7, 8, 8, 8, 7, 7. And he bought cases and could not get the 10 to save his life. And that 10 is actually one of those cards that, you know, as things corrected, it didn't really correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I graded probably about 70 to 80 of those, and I got a PSA 10 reverse and a
Wow.
regular holo for a client, same client actually.
Whoa.
Which is pretty crazy, which is
I'm
pretty sick.
surprised nobody has tried to cross grade it. Beckett's grading pop report on their website. Of course, they have trouble like updating. Everybody
Yeah,
knows that,
they suck.
according to PSA.
I love
but
Beckett, but they
there's
suck.
0 registered BGS 10s for that secret rare and 45 9.5s.
Dude,
No, man,
you can literally look up my first appearance Lugia, and it'll still say that's the highest grade for my first appearance Lugia at Beckett, even though there's like
3
7 other
9.0.
there's 2 8.5s at Beckett, one of them belonged to Rhyme Style, and then you have like 5 or 6 9s at Beckett. So it's crazy.
dude, think about how I feel. Literally, like no pop report on these. This is literally, dude. First of all, this package was almost lost. One package had both of these cards in it, and it was lost and dropped in another guy's doorstep. I have a video on it on TikTok.
Gosh.
I got these cards at 60% off market value because I found a seller in another country that was just fire selling everything. And I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Bought everything. These came and DHL dropped them off at the wrong freaking house. Anyway, the pop report would seriously help, you know, kind of figure out like, look, they're low print run period, and these come out of what are called, well, at least the Albedo comes out of a trial deck, which is literally 50 cards jammed together and wrapped with tape. Like, to not have edge wear on that is insane. I wish Beckett would get the pop reports rolling, because like to have, like, I say pop 1 and they told me in person like that this is probably pop 1, but it'd be really nice to be able to see how many 9.5s there are, because I do make informational content about Weiss. For Weiss collectors specifically who would find that information really interesting.
Yeah, because like you could like, I mean, obviously we're gonna talk about market a little bit. I mean, when you see that, it's sort of, I don't know, part of it is kind of like enticing too. Like you see an entire set, it's like, oh, this has like let's say 59s, but there's no 10s. Like I want to be that person to get that 10.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I can totally understand with that. Like I just and I think we can kind of segue into this. I think that kind of ends our. Yeezy, do you have anything to say about the whole emphasis on that shift of how we should pay attention to things?
Everything I wrote down, y'all just like nailed it.
I think Alex just nailed it. He just does a good job.
No,
yeah. I'll tell you what I have written down though. I had how much negativity do you see compared to like the positive ones, and then you are kind of comparing, contrasting. Then I say, what do you think people have? Or why do you think people have this type of outlook or lens in this niche community in our space right now? I mean, he's really hinted like the incendiary versus like the positive, and the understanding, the logical people gravitate towards that. And so I just had like questions and like that. And then the biggest thing I have that I was wondering is if we go back to like 2018, 2019 era, like there wasn't that much type of drama and that type
Like
of
this type of drama,
like the worst thing you would like literally see on stories was like, bad pack, I can't believe this, like
Or a
green code,
scammer.
like that was the worst thing you would see. I can't fathom, or I can't even think of anything that was like super negative in 2018, 2019. I mean, can you when y'all were checking stories?
No, and I think like that's probably, I mean, dude, like we talked about mental health earlier in the podcast, and let me tell you, man, I noticed like a wildly noticeable shift in March, April, May of this year, where a lot of people being curious, wanting to know more, wanting to get involved, wanting to enjoy the hobby, suddenly becomes this pitchfork mob of anyone that buys and opens a pack as a scalper. I get called a scalper in every video now. It doesn't matter what I do. If I do a giveaway, I'm a scalper. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything, like the word scalper is literally just meaningless at this point to me.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because I see scalpers. I'm in the Pokemon groups that they invade, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Scalpers don't have Pokey Anthony 89 account. They don't know who Leonhardt is. They're not here. They simply go onto groups and onto eBay and they sell our stuff. Meanwhile, we're pointing the fingers at each other, going,
That's correct.
"Oh, it's vintage Charizard 99 who's doing it. It's Yizzy who's doing it. It's Shiv who's doing it. Shiv who's never bought a modern product in his life. He's the guy that we're going to be mad at today." And it's that who's close to me, I'm gonna punch them. Like there's like this mosh pit happening in Pokemon right now that is so unfortunate because these scalpers aren't here to even participate. Like I posted a video of scalpers mobbing into a Walmart, got like 400,000 views. Do you think any of them saw that video?
Probably not. They don't care.
No, they didn't see that. They have no idea they went viral punching each other, grabbing the sports cards. They don't care.
I will say
They're
this.
not here.
I will say this, like whenever I do post videos sort of like that, I do actually get scalpers in my actual comment section. Like and they're being dead serious. And like you know, I know you've seen it. I know Omash has seen it. I know a lot of you know, our mutual friends have seen, you know, me combating scalper 101. It's like it's crazy on TikTok. Like I see more scalpers on TikTok than I do on actual Instagram.
Dude, that is so crazy because like the one dude we ever got on one of my videos was Cody Thrive, and now he's like a door-to-door lawn gnome salesman. Dude, just amazing. Like he was in Pokemon for 2.5 seconds with the how to make $10,000 flipping Pokemon cards, and then like literally 2 weeks later, he was like, "Sell knives door to door, kids, and steal your mom's credit card." Like he was in and out.
Right.
That was amazing. I don't know. I always go back to this moment, Shiv. Like I've had a chip on my shoulder for you, like for like the past year. I don't remember when this happened, but everyone at this
A year and a
point,
half
including
now.
myself, so everyone was having trouble getting product at this point, myself included. Like it didn't matter that I had to create content. It's still hard for me to go. Like I can't. I'm like I'm not getting stuff from Pokemon for free. LGS don't give me stuff. I've got receipts from Top Deck Keep, from Domino City Gaming, from Pause Joker. I spend more money at LGS than anybody.
Yeah, I literally
But
just saw your receipt the other day.
you and Yizzy get on there and you make like this really nice 45-minute video where you guys go, "Hey guys, here are ways to enjoy the hobby in the absence of buying packs," which was a really nice gesture to everyone that's wanting to collect. And I remember you guys getting railroaded for toxic positivity, aka thinking in a solutions manner versus wallowing in your sorrows over stuff you cannot control.
Exactly.
Okay. And look, toxic positivity and bulldozing, it's a thing. Trust me, I grew up in a circumstance where toxic positivity was everywhere. But let's also reflect on toxic negativity, which is there's no solves ever. Everyone's a victim forever. Everyone needs to be sad all the time and hate each other. And that's just that. Like, I'm sorry. I really want this community to get back to asking questions, to informing about the products, to really talking about this thing that brought us together and less about each other. I'm so tired of conversations about creators when you could have conversations about this legacy of characters, TV shows, video games, cards. Pokemon is like everything. They're food, they're everything. And we're talking about each other.
Mm-hmm.
Why? We're so boring. Like, I don't know.
And then you have groups who like sort of defend you know, scalpers or scammers, and it just it blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll also say I know this is like off rail, but like I mean, I was blessed to be in like a group where they actually started talking about the movie, and like I was like, man, this is so like revitalizing to like see that they're like Zarude is the GOAT. Like, you know, we were just talking about the movie that just came out. And I mean, like going back to what you were saying, we're not perfect. We don't have the one answer solutions, and I can be guilty of maybe being like negative or being influenced by
Yeah,
some of
same.
these stories that I see, and that's why we were kind of talking about this. Like we realize this, man, this is really taxing on us, and we're over here talking about NAMI too, and that's why Shiv and I spoke about this topic and brought you on board when it comes.
I
No, and
think
don't get me
I
wrong,
think
because everyone.
yep, he's gone.
Did we lose Yizzy?
Yeah.
Yes. We booted Yizzy. Let's go.
Here it is. Oh, back on board. At least make this effort to change our mindset when it comes to that. You know, I remember like the worst thing everybody talked about was like grading or trading, not grading, but conditions. Back then, when you
Yeah.
traded a card, you could all you had to say is like it's played. It was like three. I've talked to old school Bonnie and like people like OG trading. They're like there was only three categories: like damaged, played, or near mint. And then when
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
bought something and you didn't receive that quality, you're like, huh, well, crap. Dang it. You know, like time to buy another one.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, time. And now people are days, oh, there's this like little scratch right there. You said near mint. This is heavy played. I want my money back. They'll post on their Instagram story say this guy just cheated. It actually happened to me. Like this guy just like da 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 and like ripped me off. And it's like, come on, like
It's like
I don't
who's
know.
gonna sell an
Dude,
actual mint condition
look,
card?
yo, I'm kind of the OCD collector guy, and I have freaked out in the Wise groups before because
Yeah.
players will not observe certain norms. And dude, I'm right there with you when you say it would be so nice to just be damaged, played near mint. Like that would be so much simpler than
Yeah.
LP plus plus, LP plus, LP minus, like moderately
Yeah.
played. Like it's all so subjective at a
Yeah.
certain point when you have 5 different grades. But like what happens is when we talk about the stuff we just talked about before, people go, "Oh, these guys are pro scalper, they're pro LGS, they're pro. They hate the community, they hate players, they hate everybody." And what I want to say right now is there is a time and place to talk about scalpers, shops that are acting out, like all this stuff. Like, dude, I call out scammers in my story by name and say, "Hey, avoid this guy. He's on Facebook. He's selling fake Hidden Fates ETBs." Like,
Yeah.
that's part of my role as being an admin and a mod in a collectors group with thousands of people on Facebook, like
Right.
is making people get the products that they paid for, that everyone's acting accordingly, respectfully, etc.
Mhm.
But when it's the number one conversation in the community, when it's the only thing to talk about, it's so painful. It's just like we have this beautiful thing and we're turning it into a Call of Duty lobby in 2011. Like, what are we doing here? Like, let's get back to like the cohesiveness. Let's get back to the information sharing, the hunting rare things together, the hunting experiences together. That's why I got into it, man. And
Mhm.
I'm just not seeing it anymore, you know?
Yeah. So
It, it's
yeah, we're
it's it's something that even though like we don't like we do see this on a regular basis. I'm hopeful. I hope
Totally.
that like I'm hopeful. I know that things are gonna get back to normal.
Mhm.
Whatever normal is. Um, I feel like people are gonna get back to the core of why they're in the community. I think people eventually will ask themselves, why am I here? What am I here to do? And when they answer that question, whether it's tomorrow or 2 years from now, I think at that point, um, our community will be a better place. And I think everyone in this chat right now, I think obviously you, Yizzy, all of us are here to essentially have a platform. So
Yeah.
I think we can do something about it.
Yeah. Just yeah. We just people are just so quick to react and let's start like responding. Let's start talking
You
about
know what? To end what I just went on a more positive note, right? On a
Mm.
more kumbaya, things are happy and there's rainbows eventually. You know, Possum and I had a disagreement, or Possum Bud and I had a disagreement maybe 8 months ago that was very heated in his comment section about content, boundaries, etc. And him and I were fired up. This was a conversation that was not, and I don't typically get involved into the dramas, the beefs, etc. But it was something where him and I clearly had a disagreement and we couldn't kind of come to terms with like how we felt about it. Fast forward 2 months ago, an LGS gets hit by a hurricane storm front, a flood, a storm surge, and their LGS gets destroyed, right? And I post about this, and I'm getting roasted by people going, "This is insurance fraud. This is a scam. I'm not giving them anything, even though the shop wasn't asking for anything. They were literally just asking LGS if they could buy product because distributors were cleared out." And I was getting destroyed, right?
Mhm.
And of all the people in the community, of all the people that were on the case and said, "Wait a minute, guys, there was a flood here. Wait a minute, guys, an asbestos factory broke open and they're saying that there's cancer causing agents in water flooding through businesses in that exact town where that LGS is." Of all the people on Instagram in the Pokemon community, it's the one guy I had that argument with. And that to me was such a beautiful moment because it was like you got to see that despite the fact that we had clashed, that there was that integrity there to one, get the story right, which apparently the 40 other dudes in my comments couldn't even Google. And then two, to take care of that LGS, even if it was with in tandem with someone who we had disagreed with before. That to me was very cool. And I think an example of like, look, we can disagree about stuff, we can get to know each other after the fact, and we can realize ultimately that we have more in common than we think we do. That was really cool, and I want to see more stuff like that from the community, and I'm trying to do that too. You know,
Yeah, of course.
I want to be better when I make content.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know, like me personally, I don't think I'm infallible. I definitely make mistakes, and I know I'm gonna screw up, but I'm not the type of person to like steal, scam people, do anything of the sort. But I do say things, you know, out of line sometimes. So I do appreciate like people like Yizzy, yourself, other people out there that, you know, hold me accountable. You know, and then I see it from another perspective where it's like, okay, maybe I can, you know, see what they're trying to say, and like I do take I do step in other people's shoes to see that perspective, and that's what I like to do now. I've shifted my mentality. I've shifted my emphasis on, you know, a lot of negative things and back to what I came here to do, and that's to collect and create content that provides more valuable and as much value to people as possible, because that's what we're here for.
Not to go full Pokedad as Don Diego Trading calls me, Shiv, you've grown more as literally like in the public eye more in the past 18 months than anyone in the community. Like literally, you and I first talking in January of 2020 versus you now. Like, dude, you're Luke Skywalker with the black cloak and the green saber. Like, you're fully out of the blue lightsaber phase. You have the mechanical hand now. You're battle scarred. You're smarter. You're ready to attack. And I'm so proud of you, man. I really do think like, dude, the content, the presentation, the commentary, like you're really killing it, dude. I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks, man.
And Yizzy, you've always been a sweetheart. I love you, buddy.
Yizzy holds me accountable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close out this podcast. You know, I think the main points was pretty covered in this podcast. So we're gonna go ahead and do our typical thing. We're gonna sips up, deuces, and peace out. So let's go ahead and do it. Sips up, deuces, and we're out.
We're out, baby. Love you guys.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Have a great night, guys. Sleep